All right, so I think it's time to start. Good morning, everyone. My name is Peter Sagari. I'm with Terena, and I'm going to chair this session. We're going to have 3 speakers in this session, and the session called Successful Installations of Cloud Services. And I do hope that we're going to go through various types of cloud services, starting with software as a service, platform as a service, and finally infrastructure as a service. So I do hope this quick overview will be interesting for you. So I would like to give the mic to the first speaker, Rui Ribeiro from FCCN.
Oh, I'm already
you're already wired up. Very
yes. Good. Hello. My name is Rui Ribeiro. I work at FCCN. In fact, I have a new boss, that is FCT. FCCN has been integrated into a new entity that is called the Fundação for Science and Technology. But we are still serving the universities, and we are still working as we were before. The only difference is that now we are on a very bigger institution. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about our work during last year about the webconferencing cloud service that we are preparing to provide to the community. So the agenda will be mainly just a brief what is a web conferencing service, the Colibri service that we were providing since 2009, the decisions made last year and why were important, which kind of decisions we made, what are the big challenges when we are trying to provide a cloud service that was made for the all internet, because vendors don't provide this for academia specifically, and there are a few challenges that NRENs and the institutions must cope and solve in order to provide the service to their users. Then I will go through some technical details, and then small service uptake statistics, because we made it beta in December, and then we have 2-3 months of usage right now. So what is a web conferencing service? And my definition is that it's a simple, easy-to-use, web-oriented collaboration service. Okay, this means that a user goes through the web, easily just say, I want to start a collaboration, and it's working. Okay. These collaboration services usually have audio and video. That's why people associate this with video conferencing. Screen sharing. Most of them have chats, whiteboarding, and some document sharing and other tools for sharing content. Okay. But there are also other features that sometimes are provided on web conferencing services, like VoIP integration, video conferencing, traditional H223 integration. Sometimes it's possible to make recordings and playbacks of the meetings. Usually it's very important to create some kind of web integration so that the session can be started from the web, let's say from Moodle or from blogs. And of course, you need to know who is inside your meeting. A teacher wants to know who are the participants, who are the students on their meeting. So back in 2009, we started a web conferencing service based on Radvision's Scopia desktop. And on that service, we started this service with this branding that is called Colibri, Ambient Collaborative Multimedia, which means multimedia collaborative environment. And basically, this was a video conferencing service on the desktop. As you know, Radvision comes from the world of H223, and their view on this was that video conferencing must be H223 based, and then you have this add-on that is the video conferencing on desktop. And they provided audio, video, and screen sharing. And it's kind of web conferencing because you go through the web and you start the collaboration. In fact, it's not fully web because you have to download a plugin or a client and then integrate and execute that. But we made it easy enough for users to just to run in a very easy way. As a plus, it was H223 compatible, and we thought in 2009 that was really important. After 1 or 2 years, we found out that we could enable SIP with it, and we actually integrate that with the telephone system that we have at FCCN that interconnect all the universities. So actually, anyone on the university can pick up the phone and dial to one of these rooms. The problem then, as it is now, was that the service was based on a software that was developed for the, for the American companies that have this structure, this closed community. You know, they have sellers, they have marketing, and so on. When we go to schools and universities, the audience is very broad. And actually, we don't have one guy to manage rooms, so it's difficult to put everything going through a scheduling system that is managed by one manager. So we have to create a self-provisioning room system that have to be really, really easy to do. If you know their platform, you would know that it's very difficult to do anything there. And the second thing was that we wanted this to be federated because we didn't want to manage users on the platform. And since then, the Colibri platform has been a meeting point for all students and teachers. We are carrying more than 600 meetings per month. They are doing everything there. They are doing meetings, they are doing learning, distance learning, events, everything. But in 2013, we found out, well, we didn't find out, but we were kind of on the point that we had to make some decisions. Since 2009, there was no really upgrade on the platform, not from the manufacturer. If you look at the version in 2009 and the version in 2013, it's almost the same thing. Audio, video, chat, screen sharing, period. Some issues with the servers, some issues with the Mac clients. The Linux version never came out. So we started to think that maybe it should be a good decision to change. At that point, we were paying about 30,000 euros for support to maintain software that was outdated, didn't really work, and the responses from the manufacturer were not that great. So what we done was we created this community, basically the 10 top users of this web conferencing service, and we gathered them and provided them 4 products that we thought that might work for them, okay? And at the time it was Adobe Connect, video, WebEx, and something that I found out on a Gartner's report called Saba Meeting. And based on that, 2 were chosen by this expert group. I asked them, please go there, try and go through this script and try to create a session, enter a session, share content, you know, the basic stuff. But basically on the web conferencing side of things, on the collaboration part. And at the end, the answer was Adobe Connect, very good. Video, you know, the video quality, very, very good. And the other 2 were kind of confusing and not really the first option. So at the end, we came up with these 2 solutions. The first one was Adobe Connect, the second was video. And then we went to the pricing, okay? So we went to Adobe Connect to try to see the pricing, go to video to see the pricing also. And we were very keen on the cloud approach, okay? As I said before, we were paying about 30,000 euros per year on support for the old platform, and we didn't want to go further than that. So we were trying to go that as our limit of cost. Video, unfortunately, didn't have a really good solution at that time on the cloud, and the price was not there at that level. But Adobe Connect really made the extra mile, and they provide us not only for that price for 1 year, they provide us for 3 years. Okay, so at the end, the price that we got was really interesting because we could manage a very interesting licensing agreement with them that is based on simultaneous ports of usage and not hosts. If you try to negotiate these kind of things, you will buy hosts. And it's a bad thing because on FCCN we have 400,000 users. And I want that all users become hosts of meetings. And I cannot pay a license for each of potential hosts. Okay? So I wanted to go for ports. And I didn't want to have a limit number of meetings per day or per month or per year. I didn't want to have a limited number of users. They offered unlimited space for recordings. It's a plus. And we went for the hosted Connect Cloud version for 3 years. So at the end, it seems to be a good solution and a good price. The deployment was great. Okay? You just send out a check. 2 days after, you receive an email saying, it's done. Go there. This is your username and password. You can start using the service. Okay? Perfect. After a few hours of configuration, I don't know, changing colors, the logos, and there are some strange checks on the back office that you need to understand what they mean. But, you know, nothing that you could not make. So it's done. Well, not quite. The problem is that Adobe Connect works on this concept. The service is ready. This is the home page of the service. Okay? Try to provide this service like this to your community. Okay? They don't have usernames, passwords here because this is not federated. There are no way for them to add users. This is based on the idea of that everything works on LDAP, which it's wrong because we don't use that on our federations. No, not publicly. We don't have LDAP publicly on the federation, and we don't have a federation of LDAP servers. So this doesn't really work. This doesn't work as a service for the community. Even if you log in, you get this information. You know, lots of options, lots of menus, and because of permissions and security permissions, at least 50% of them will just give you an error saying you don't have permissions to do that. Okay? So in fact, this is lots of noise for the generic user. That's one problem. The second problem is the things that you can see, you just see too much. Okay? You can see other users from other institutions. It's a problem. And even if you click on the right button, that is Create Meeting, you have to fill up this, you know, the name, the URL, description, start time, duration, and select a template. Who really wants to know what is a template? Okay? And then language, and then you have these 3 messages. Only registered users may enter the room. Guest access is blocked. How do you explain this to users? Only registered users and accept guests may enter the room. Anyone, you know, people will not understand this. And this is just the top part of the form, because below there is another form about VoIP and integration with telephony and so on. So people don't really understand what this means. And if everything goes well, when someone is trying to enter the room, they will get this. Okay? I'm sure that everyone knows about this. When you try to go into Adobe Connect, usually you get this enter as a guest or enter with your login. Okay? But by default, it's enter as a guest. So it's really uncomfortable for users to get in. So there are a few big challenges. The service is there, it works from day one, but we cannot provide this as a whole to the community. So we have three big chunks of challenges. One is about technology, the second is about the service policy, and the third is user expectations. As you know, I had a service before, and people don't want to move away from the good service. So the first challenge was that because it's hosted on the cloud, there is no way to customize the installation. What this means is when you install Webconnect on premises on your server, you actually can change things on the configuration. You can put simple SAML plugin. You can have some extra features. You can enable external authentication. But not here. On the host, on the cloud host version, you cannot do that. Adobe Connect is managing the server. They don't want you to touch anything. Then there is centralized user management. By default, and this is how it works, there are users inside the platform. That's it. But we use AI authentication. So we needed to be able to interconnect this. Then there is efficient resource management. Resources on the cloud is kind of infinite, but there are things that are not infinite. Things like identifiers. Room identifiers are not infinite. You need to have good identifiers in order to select a good room. But everyone will want the math room, right? Or the biology room. So you need to manage on time and the resources that you have. That's why we want to enforce home scheduling and so on. And then another technology problem was I only have one instance on the cloud. Of course, I could ask maybe for a second one for development or to test, but I didn't. So we had to come up with a solution that the cloud service that we have would work either for development and for production without any clashing between them. And this was really interesting because from this we got a multi-tenant version of this. In fact, I can create multiple instances of my service based on the same backend cloud installation. For instance, I can create this software that we are going to see afterwards, one for each university, and on the back end is the same cloud account that is FCCN managed. The service policy was that we need a secure access to the room. Just to be host is really important, but then be able to identify who enters into the room. And it's not just identify, it's authenticate, it's validate that the person that is entering is who they say they are. So the idea is to go through the federation and validate with the federation before people enter into the Adobe Connect room. It's much stronger than what they have. The second thing is to hide the back office from Adobe Connect from the users, because there is just too much to see and break. In fact, it's impossible to avoid this. Okay, the information that goes from the browser to the cloud and backwards exposes some information that a non-knowledgeable user can use to access the back office. Okay, but nothing that we really can do. The other thing was that all users must become room hosts. I'm not sure about how you provide this service, but in every instances of Adobe Connect I've seen before was that the rooms are created by the managers and they are offered to the host, but the host never gets really the capability of managing the room. Okay? You cannot change the layouts, you cannot add pods and so on. Here I'm really providing host capabilities for the owner of the meeting. The owner of the meeting goes there, I want to create a session, he enters and he is capable of preparing the meeting up front, can put content, can update PowerPoints, can change the layouts, can add pods. He is really the host. He has permissions as host. Okay? And we wanted also to provide extra features to make it competitive solution on the web conferencing marketplace. Okay? As you know, there are not thousands, but there are dozens of implementations of web conferencing around the world. And many of them are free, and the users are using them. So what could we provide that is more than what is offered elsewhere? It's Adobe Connect. It's being used all over the place. But maybe there are a few extra things that we could provide extra that will make users use our service instead of others. Users, because they had already the service for a few years, they were complaining a lot because we only have a Portuguese version, and they are multinational institutions, right? Universities work all over the world, and it was really awkward to ask someone to enter into the meeting, and the Portuguese interface was the only thing there. So by default, by design, we have created this new website based on the multi-language. Right now we are supporting only 2, officially, but the option is already 6, and I can have as many as I want. The idea is to integrate with Moodle directly. There is right now a Moodle interface that is based on the community, a module from the community, and it will be used basically intact with this service. It's a multi-device support. Before, on the Adobe Connect interface, half of it was Flash. So if you want to use the iPad to schedule, it would be impossible. Okay? This interface that we have created not only is fully HTML, but also has a responsive design. So it's really cool to use it on either big screens or small screens. It just works. And it's used either for the presenter, for the host of the meeting to create meeting, but also for the clients to access the meetings. We have also created the concept of notifications, so we can create invitations in multi-language, and we also attach the iCalendar attachments. So this goes directly to the calendar, and when the calendar comes up, it will give the link directly to the meeting, and it will just work. And then this is right now our main concern, I think, that is the transition from the first version, because people in fact think that this is a better solution, but they are very tied to the idea that H323 must be a service within this service. In fact, 10% of our web meetings have traditional video conferencing terminals, but we are going to maintain version 1 as long as we can, so this will not be very problematic for a while. About VoIP, we are not able to integrate VoIP. I had some conversations with an operator to try to bring in, but when he told me that what I wanted, it's what they usually sell to their 10 million minutes customers, I thought, well, I'm not there. Maybe we have 1,000 minutes a month, but not much more. So lots of problems, big challenges, and we need to do things new, okay? So make everything as simple as possible, but not simpler, okay? Albert Einstein. So we started with the home page, okay? And this is the home page that we have on the service. This is a proper home page, 5 minutes, proper home page for the service. Participate at meeting, schedule meeting, the 2 main options. And then on black, you have the things that you can do as a user. So my meetings and my recordings. When you want to schedule a meeting, everything comes pre-defined. So meeting title, description is something that you have to write down. But the other first things that you have there, it's already proposed. You can adjust. And this is the only place on the platform that you actually write stuff. Okay? From then on, it's just options. When you go from one page to here, you get the authentication procedure through the federation. So when we reach here, the system now knows who you are. And then when you say schedule meeting, it will go to Adobe Connect and you will try to create a meeting. But beforehand, it will try to validate that user exists. If it doesn't exist, it will create, and then we'll associate this meeting with that user. And we'll present this general meeting information. And then the user can go to the security and can prepare a meeting, can share meetings, invite others, define followers, and take recordings. There are lots of other stuff that the owner can do on the meeting after the creation. But it's as simple as possible for the first moment, and then it varies completely based on what people expect to do on their meeting. If they want to make it more secure, they are able to enable security. If they want to share more, they will go there and share. I just want to enlighten this part of the sharing. Something that is really cool that we are using on several services is the ability to embed code from our application to applications of others. So we are providing these iframe and JavaScript integration tools where people just have to copy-paste this into their WordPress or to Moodle or whatever, and it will create this widget, this block. And this block, we have enabled this to be more than just static reference to the room. In fact, if you think of the meeting on a timeline, and the meeting occurs on that period of time, when the object, the widget is present, is visible, then it will show something like the meeting is occurring, click here to enter. So this is something that you'll see on Moodle, okay? A block, a widget where you go and see. But if the moment is before the meeting, so the meeting will occur in the future, there will be a message saying the meeting didn't start yet, register here as a follower. If you register as a follower, then you will get notifications and so on. Okay, so when it starts, if you are a follower, you will get a notification saying meeting is about to start. And the meeting is about to finish, when it's finished. And when the meeting is on the past, that same widget that you had just created maybe 5 weeks ago when you're preparing the meeting, when for 3 or 4 weeks it said it will be there, it will be here that will start the meeting. On the moment of the meeting, it started there, and then afterwards it will list the recordings of the meeting that were produced on that meeting. Okay, so this is a link that will be used in various parts of the meeting time cycle. Okay, this is the home page, validate, authentication, and so on. So other features. So we have strong security. We are EduGain aware right now. I think this will be a very interesting use case for EduGain. We have SNMP monitoring. We have created a local data cache so that we avoid extra queries to the cloud. And we don't have yet recordings, but I'm studying ways to export the recordings into MP4 for exporting. So the effort right now was about 1 month to make the proof of concept. And now we are on final implementation. And it's basically 1.5 developer and a web designer doing this. The service uptake has been like this. So in November, December, we got the beta version out, and we didn't really made a very big party on this. In fact, the service is behind, it's not registered officially on the federation, so institutions actually have to go there and configure manually the IDP to access this service. But nevertheless, we got up to 200 sessions on March, which is about 20% of whole traffic of web conferencing at FCCN. This is the total of institutions. As you can see, it's not FCCN just using this system. Now it's a network. It's a set of institutions. And as conclusions, I would like to say that Adobe Connect has a web conferencing interface that works, but the users must have some training on it. The back office isn't that useful for the open community of users as we have. The API works quite well and is very well documented, but has some gory details. One, for instance, is impossible to get the recordings of a user. Okay? You cannot make a query like that. You can have several queries to get that. Service development. We are trying to set innovative features, and we are testing it right now. We really don't do this much, but we are trying to put on the management of this project the user feedback and integrate that directly on development. And I think that we should be aware of this service because this could be a great use case for EduGame. Okay? And this is it.
Thank you very much, Rui. Do you have questions, Rui? One up there. I'm running. Do we have another mic? Oh, very good.
So we are kind of working in something like this, like trying to simplify the access to several services that we offer. But we have this web conference service called Best Espresso. It works on the big blue button platform. And I was wondering, how are you measuring the end user's experience after using the web conference, and how are you doing it? Or are you thinking about doing it, and maybe we can talk about how you were planning to do it?
The thing here is that there are two parts of the service. One is the scheduling and entering, okay? And this is what I'm looking at completely, okay? The web interface where the collaboration happens, it's completely Adobe. I cannot change that. It's
an Adobe,
Flash-based.
Right?
Sorry?
It's an Adobe, right?
It's on Adobe. It's on the cloud. I don't have any.
That's why I'm wondering, because I have to measure it somehow, but I'm still trying to figure it out.
I didn't look at it, but Adobe Connect has these reporting facilities. So I can go through the API, get a list of all the meetings, and get some info about it. I'm not sure that there is some quality information about the meeting. I'm sure that there is start-stop, there is a number of participants, which participants, content, which content, chat, which chat. There is lots of information about the meeting, but not quality.
Okay, thank you.
So I personally am not really satisfied with the recording features of Adobe Connect. Indeed, it's not a media management or archiving tool. Do you have any comments to that?
I think that they have an objective. The objective is to record the meeting as it is. But then there are two things that people must bear in mind on Adobe Connect. First is that the recording that happens on the cloud stays in the cloud. And the recording is a Flash-based something. Okay? It's a proprietary format, and you cannot really do much with it. But you can look at that on the upside. The upside of that is that if you, on your meeting, you have this pod where you have a simulator, okay? And you have this meeting that is being recorded, the pod will go to the recording also, okay? But the recording will only record the chat, the audio, the video, not the simulation. Okay? So this could be a problem, but this could be also a very interesting solution for people who want to give a distance learning materials with the simulation, where on the recording they say, you that are seeing, you the student, go to the simulation and do it now. Okay? And there is some interaction that people can do inside the recording. Okay?
All right. Cool. Thank you very much, Rui, again. And I think it nicely leads to our next speaker, who is Christoph from Switch. So please, Christoph, the floor is yours.
From my side as well. My name is Christoph, and within the next 30 minutes I'm going to describe a small expedition in the area of cloud service development. It's about building a basic academic YouTube, and I invite you to join me on this trip. So first, let's see which two reasons have led to undertake this software development. We will also look at some assumptions and how we planned this trip. Then we will have a look at what came out so far on the technical, but also on the use case side. We have learned some lessons during this. We did some things right and some things we should have done right. And there is a remaining way on that path that I would also explain. So I don't know whether Switch is well known by you. It's Switzerland's NREN. And if we look at the mission statement of Switch, we also find words like education and ICT services. So it's not only about network, but also about bringing education a step further. I'm part of a team called Interaction Enabling, and our scope is services for collaboration and e-learning. So we are users of Adobe Connect as well, like Rui. So our primary partners, it's lecturers, professors, e-learning responsibles. And we engineer solutions or develop them and then operate them and try to spread them among other universities. So we don't have any methodology skills, but we are contributing to the EduHub platform. Natalie will have a speech about it this afternoon. So it's an experience exchange. So why did we start this expedition? Over the past 5 years, Switch has created a lecture recording system called SwitchCast. This system needs to be renovated. So on the recording side, we will keep our own software. In the main part, where the big work of lecture recording is being done, we want to replace our software, our own code, by an open source software called Matterhorn. Sven had a lightning speak about this, because we think it's more sustainable to contribute to a community development than to have our own code. And here the reason for SwitchTube, we also want to modernize the HTML5 interface. So it should also play on mobile devices with different screen sizes. So universities work a lot with video clips. They use them to enrich learning or train students. And in some cases, we even saw that their lecturers ask to practice a certain skill and record it on a video. But unlike other file types, the videos usually are large files, and it's much more convenient to stream them instead of clicking them, waiting for the download, and then see what happens. So when talking to universities, they expressed the wish to have something similar to YouTube, so it should be easy to use. Ideally, it should be free, of course, and it should play on tablets and mobile phones as well. And they wanted not only to have private movies, but also to have public videos. So there are many things that are great with YouTube, especially its price. However, the universities had additional needs. they wanted, for example, they want to protect certain videos to say it's only available to certain students or to our school or to the universities, to all universities in Switzerland. They would like to group the videos in channels, attach some files, maybe in a comment to a video or an exercise. For some of them, it's important to host the videos within our country. There are medical students that may have recordings that are private. And of course, they don't want to have advertisings disturbing the videos. And they would like to know who has uploaded a certain video. So these are features that are not all of them available in YouTube, and that's why they came to us. So we have two scenarios. On one side, the whole process of lecture recording with at the end a front end to the user. And the second scenario, a campus YouTube, so a system that should allow to upload videos for certain parties. And this campus YouTube should also work as a standalone, because not each university that is interested in such a portal also does lecture recording. So how to prepare for such a journey? First, we had to define the direction by identifying the use cases for the service to be born. So we assume that the main use case, the main scenario for using Tube is a lecturer who wants to use video clips for lectures or as a supplementary. There is a second important use case, that's the multimedia responsible, having tons of video files on a file server and want to store it somewhere. So that's the main two use cases we are seeing. And besides that, we see two smaller use cases. So as Switch, for example, we have some video files in our company, some marketing or tutorials, and we want to publish it, for example, a DNS movie or a movie about our 25th anniversary. And there is another small use case. So some lecturers, they ask their students to practice an exercise and then to upload it. So when shaping the Switchcast renovation, we intended to buy an existing product back in 2013. We found the commercial software that seemed to fit our needs. And we also, as Switch, we also try to shift from developing everything on our own towards integrating existing components and creating a service for our universities out of it. So I think what Rui said before is also our intention, so not to build too much software anymore. So that was our intention. And then we were hit by reality. So the software that we have evaluated as a video portal, it became too successful and its price increased tenfold. In addition, we would have to spend license costs, and we would have to modify this software to fit our needs, for example, the IIA integration. So we would have to create, although we would buy a software, we would also have to write own code for IIA, for multi-tenancy, and this would have cost about 60,000 euro. So within this problem, a new team member joined us, a team member that was experienced in creating multimedia portals for a press company, was also experienced in leading agile projects with external companies, and we decided to go for a software development. So who of you knows about agile development? Well, quite many. I quickly want to explain the main idea of Scrum. It's to build a software piece by piece. It's about building small and controllable developments, and each development cycle shall deliver a small functioning piece of the product. So such a cycle, in our case, takes 2 weeks. It's called a sprint, and at the beginning of each sprint, there is a planning meeting where one decides what to do, and at the end, there is a review meeting where the developers show what they have done, hopefully successful. Otherwise, the story gets back to the next sprint of 2 weeks. Such a sprint cycle is performed by the Scrum team. That's a team composed of a master and some developers, and they have a daily meeting of about 15 minutes. The work is taken out of the sprint backlog. So when starting the sprint, it's defined which user stories will become part of that sprint. And the one who decides this, it's the product owner. So that's a very important role in this whole thing. The product owner is the person that has maybe a good connection to the client. He knows about requirements and wishes and problems in the software. And he is the one who decides what will be done, what shall be done within the next sprint. The developers then say whether it's feasible regarding the time. And the software is created step by step. The product owner also has the role of dropping some requirements, because usually he's limited by money or time. So the user story, that's one of the main components of Scrum development. It has a special syntax. You talk about who does something, what he wants to do, why, so the justification, why to spend this money, and then some details and how we can test whether this user story has been implemented successfully. So I make an example. As a system manager, I want to get information about inappropriate videos because I want that my school's reputation stays good, and I accept this story as being implemented as soon as spectators can click on a flag as inappropriate icon besides the video, and if 3 videos are flagged, I get an email as a manager. So that's how a user story could look like. A user story needs to be somewhat small, so it must be possible to do that user story in one sprint. If it's bigger, then you call it an epic and subdivide it. In very rare cases, software developments tend to take longer or become more expensive than planned. Therefore, it was necessary to kind of test our approach before having spent all the 70,000 euros that were planned for this project. So we said that after the first 2 sprints, we will sit together with management, show them what we have achieved so far, and whether the collaboration with the development company from Netherlands was fine, and then to take the no-go decision. We took a positive decision then, and were allowed to spend the remaining project budget on implementing a very basic academic YouTube. We're not at the end, so we will start marketing campaigns and charging. We also expect to have yearly costs for enhancements of about 40,000 euros. So we will do a version 1.1 quite soon. Standing between the release of 1 and 1.1, I would like to explain Tube as it is. So as the base, this service takes advantage of Switch's cloud hardware. As many of you, we also use OpenStack as the virtualization layer above the hardware. For storage, we use Ceph. It has recently been bought by Red Hat. I think that's a good news. And the application itself, it's developed in Ruby on Rails. It runs on an Apache web server. We have made a bit of special design regarding the communication between the browser and our server. So some traffic, most user interface traffic from the browser goes to the Apache, but all the video traffic does not go to this Apache server, but directly to Ceph. We expect to have a better scalability with this architecture. Transcoding, we have outsourced this to a web service, and we have a staging environment that runs on the same cloud, and for developments we are using local machines. So we think that the first impression is very important. The user should feel that he enters a somewhat attractive portal, and he should understand what it is about. We also wanted to have responsive design. That means if you enter the website, you should be able to enter it with a mobile phone as well as with a larger screen. We didn't want to have a framework like Bootstrap in order to load it quickly. And we think that universities should somehow feel at home. So your own university's videos will be shown on top of search results. And for the user experience, we said that you should only get results that are accessible to you in order to avoid frustrations like with our successor, the Switch collection, where you could get a list of results, but you were not allowed to view all of them. So here you see the start page of SwitchTube. It mainly provides search functionality. We also list some featured videos, some most popular below, and the most recent below. It doesn't have a lot of user interface elements, and if you want, you can visit it at tube.switch.ch. So most users entering the portal will be there to find and view videos. Some may be logged in with Shibboleth, others will just see the public videos. If we want to have spectators on this software, we also need people contributing to it. And therefore, the most important role is the one of the producer, the person that creates channels, that uploads videos himself, or defines a co-uploader. For example, a professor could define his assistant as a co-uploader. And then each organization will have managers, the ones paying the bill at the end. They should be able to say who is allowed to be a producer and who not, because it has some impact on the money side. The permission model is mainly grouped around channels. So the channel is the smallest unity of permissions. You can define who can view such a video, such a channel, and all videos inside it. You define who can upload there and delete. And then on top, as I said before, there is the manager. So now let's look in the rear view mirror and see what lessons there are so far. So much of the complexity can be reduced by using existing components if possible. Today's browsers, for example, they have much more capabilities than 5 years ago regarding video displaying. You can also rent a service for transcoding, as we did. It was also an advantage to have a project leader that was experienced in media portals. We went quite fast, so within 3 months the whole thing was done. And we are now looking what is missing, and there seems to be a lot of what's missing, but at least we now hear it really from the users, and we did not just sit there on our table and think about requirements that may arise. So we have them really. The Scrum process, it was, for me, it was impressive to see how Scrum can work. I've never been so close to a software development with an external company, and I was impressed in seeing how it evolves. Each 2 weeks we had some more features. And I think it was, looking back, it was great that we promised to deliver in January to some customers. It was not only good to have a goal, but it was also preventing us from spending twice the money, because it would have been easy to say, well, let's do that and that also, and at the end we would have taken too much time and money. So to be honest, we thought that such a small project would deliver a nearly bug-free software. But reality was different also here. Some concepts proved to be impractical. There were some errors in the code. The interfaces proved to be complicated, not always rock stable. And we had a scalability issue in the beginning as well. Lesson 2 is that there is another thing taking time, and that's that it takes much more time than expected for decisions of schools. As soon as it costs money, it has to be planned within the budget. Many people have to be involved. And although this is not a high-tech software, we found the devil mainly in 2 areas. So creating video files is done by thousands of different devices and softwares, and they are also buggy. They create media files that are corrupted in some case or incomplete. And the handling of large files, it's still a problem, especially with browser communications. So we are engineers, as I explained in the beginning, and we have involved marketing and communications quite late because we thought that they might help us with marketing. And looking back, I must say that we should have talked to them earlier, because they ask some questions that are, well, maybe not very kind, but that make you think about things that you later on cannot change anymore. And what we see is that we are missing a process to deal with requirements, so we have to establish that. Looking at the usage, there is not a lot of video material on tube.switch.ch. We feel that some organizations are testing it, and it will be a long way to reach the product vision, which says that in 15 or 16 we want Tube to be the main portal for academic videos in Switzerland. During the project we use several small tools, for example Adobe Connect or Skype, to keep in touch with the developers in Netherlands. We have GitHub as a source code repository. All these user stories, we manage them with TinyPM. Now, later on, we changed to Pivotal Tracker because they have a cheap license for non-profit organizations. We use Basecamp for project file exchange and Load Impact to generate load to test the scalability. There is still a piece of way to go, for example, on the pricing side. So most video portals in cloud are free of charge or very cheap. And their business models, they either base on advertising or can take advantage of economies of scale. It shall be relatively cheap to start. So higher volumes, as you see here, also should be cheaper per hour because we expect less support per hour with power users. Regarding marketing, we first have to create a basic marketing concept together with marketing, and then we want to create flyers, guide, website, inform our users about what we have created for them. Some of them already went to a different solution because 1 year was too long to wait, and we will communicate the roadmap. We would also try to have our product manager creating 2 or 3 showcases with extended support with certain universities. We still have to find them. And then we want to spread information in newsletters and individual presentations. So after this TNC, right next week, we will start working on release 1.1. We will interface it to our lecture recording system. We want to insource the transcoding service eventually because it's quite expensive and not very performant. And well, I'm quite close at the end of the time, so I just do not comment the other features. For maybe later on, we might build a OAI PMH interface, maybe flagging videos as inappropriate, but here we first wait for customer feedback. And there are also features that may be too expensive to ever build, for example, long-term archiving of videos or the ability to publish a live stream inside a channel. So a last point about the product owner's role. The product owner in Switch is a role that mainly has the overall operational responsibility for his service. So he takes care about all ETL processes except incident management, which we can outsource to our service desk. And he has to increase the usage by making it known, lowering entry barriers. And on the product side, he has the difficult task to find the sweet spot between doing the right things, so building the right features, building them in a way that they do not crash with the next feature, and stick to the budget. And I guess the recycle bin is an important tool for the product owner. So I've reached the end of this small expedition. If you're working in the area of Matterhorn or video, Sven Stauber and I, Sven sitting over there, would very much like to hear from you. So, and now I thank you very much for your attention and for your patience with my English.
Thank you very much. So, do you have any questions? Out there, one question.
Hello, good presentation. My name is Frans Woord from SurfNet. And looking at your feature list and your future feature list and open request list, I just wondered, have you been looking into open source platforms like MediaMotion, for instance? Because I think it will match a lot with what you're doing and planning to do.
No, we have not been looking at MediaMotion, I must say. I will do that after the presentation and hopefully find out that it would also take some time to integrate it with AAI. So we found out that the main work is not doing a video portal itself. The main work is in linking it to our switchcast, to Matterhorn system, and to integrate it with AAI. So that's why we didn't went too far with other evaluations. So MediaMotion is the name.
MediaMotion.
MediaMotion.
It's a digital asset media management platform, which I've been using at SurfNet for many years as a backend for our Surf Media services. Yeah. And it's looked very similar to what you are doing. So I invite you to have a look and see me up later if you want to want more about that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. Thanks.
Other questions? Do I understand correctly that your portal is a closed source software, right?
Yeah,
what's the license model behind it?
It's in our own property, but we don't want to earn money outside Switzerland with it. So if somebody interested in evaluating what we could do with it, then please contact me. But it will be, at the moment, it is a closed source. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much again. And let me introduce you our last speaker, the session, Huseyin from the Turkish NREN, and he will tell more about the impressive cloud deployment that they did.
Good morning. My name is Huseyin Cotuk from Turkish NREN ULAKBIM, and today I will talk about operating cloud from an NRENs perspective. These are contents of my presentation. After a brief introduction about Turkish NREN ULAKBIM and its roof organization TÜBİTAK, I will talk about NREN responsibilities, cloud computing, governmental services on cloud, OpenStack, and ULAKBIM Cloud, projects running on ULAKBIM Cloud, and I will conclude later. TÜBİTAK is the roof organization of Turkish NREN ULAKBIM and is the leading agency for management, funding, and conduct of research in Turkey. It was established in 1963 with a mission of advancing science and technology, conducting research and supporting Turkish researchers. So it's also responsible for promoting, developing, organizing, conducting, and coordinating research and development in line with national targets and priorities. And ULAKBIM is one of the 34 members of the NREN consortium, and it was founded as a research and development support unit of TÜBİTAK in 1996. It's responsible for operating the national academic network ULAKNet and the national science e-infrastructure TURUBA. We have 3 different departments. One of them is Network Technologies Unit, and it's responsible for operating ULAKNet and TURUBA. And the other one is Educational Technologies Unit, and it's responsible for developing content for educational projects. And the last one, Cahit Arf Information Center, is responsible for information access for educational institutions. So ULAKNet, our national network, provides network services to more than 200 units, including universities, public institutions, military and police academies, and national R&D centers. We have IPv6 enabled backbone, and we offer TR EduGain and EduRoam services. We have a ULAK CSERT team dealing with security problems. And we have a 20 gigabit connection to GEAN and 5 gigabit backup. And we also have a 25 gigabit commercial internet connection via local ISP. And the TURUBA, our e-infrastructure platform, we offer high-performance computing facilities for Turkish researchers and also grid services for European projects. In terms of data-intensive computing, we also have scientific data warehouses for our researchers. We also offer cloud computing services for educational institutions and governmental institutions as well. And we have MapReduce services via Hadoop clusters. This slide shows the European Union project participation of ULAKBIM. Some network projects like GEAN3+, GEAN3, BSIS coordinator, and GEAN2, and transition to IPv6 project of GEAN6 project. Pan-European e-infrastructure projects like EGI Inspire, Trace to IP, EG3, and EG2. And regional e-infrastructure projects like HPC, C-Grid SCI, C-Grid2, C-Grid, UMET Grid Support, and UMET Grid. And program and policy projects like EIR GSP3 and Sierra AI. And when we look at the main responsibilities of NRENs, some of them are supporting research and education communities like universities and research institutes. And they have important roles on shaping national ICT strategies as well. They are important players of innovation platform that encourage the development of new technologies. And they also support academic communities via providing great high-performance computing resources. So they have extended knowledge on new generation technologies. So when we look at what the cloud is, in recent days, cloud computing is one of the most trend topics in IT world. And more and more companies use cloud as an enabler for new services while reducing their operational costs. So cloud actually started with a dream at 1961. John McCarthy said computing may someday be organized as a public utility. And at public clouds today, with a proper subscription, you can get IT services as a public utility now. When you look at some statistics about cloud, the estimated global cloud market at 2013 is about $131 billion. The number of physical servers in the world is about 50 million. The rate of CIOs who reduced operational costs by moving to cloud is 84%. The rate of CEOs who are delivering at least one of their infrastructure through private cloud is 80%. And CEOs who think their first priority is cloud is 60%. Server loss that are virtualized in 2013 is 60% as well. Governmental institutions that implemented cloud infrastructure in 2012 is 27%. And the ratio of IT budgets spent for cloud in 2013 is 1/3. IT companies that spent for cloud advertisement in 2012 is 48%. And the amount of annual saving with the help of applications that move to cloud is 21%. All these statistics are gathered from Gartner and IDC reports. And when we look at why we use cloud, it has several advantages like scalability, cost effectiveness, pay-per-use, flexibility, self-service usage, easy metering, high availability, distributedness, service-orientedness, advanced security, green IT, quality of service, and continuity. And it has also some risks as well as it has advantages. For example, you share your resources and data with multiple tenants, and you delete the data only at a logical level. So there is a privacy problem when you use public clouds. And the solution for that is using encrypted data or using VLANs between tenants and using firewall between tenants. And one of the risks is the service provider dependency. There is no specific standard between providers. So there is not a specific data format for all service providers. And the third risk of the cloud is the management interface and remote access. Sometimes internet browsers and remote access has some security problems. Bandwidth and data transfer is another of them. And the last one is the software license. When you look at the cloud models, there are three general cloud models, and the public cloud is used as 39% at the moment, and it's expected to be 32% in 5 years. If you use public cloud, you have no management and maintenance problem. Service providers does the management and maintenance for you. There are many highly available service providers like Amazon, Google, Rackspace, and Microsoft. But as we mentioned before, there are some privacy problems when you use public clouds. If you are sensitive about security and privacy, you should use private clouds, and the usage rate of private cloud is about 43% now. And it's expected to be 25% in 5 years. When you use private clouds, you control the whole infrastructure, and you can reduce the cost and improve the reliability. But there are some challenges like management, maintenance, and continuity of the whole infrastructure. And the last one is the hybrid cloud. It's used 70% now, and it's expected to be 43% in 5 years. So the trend towards this model. And look at the cloud service models. In private cloud, all of these layers are managed by the user. When you look at the infrastructure as a service, the networking, storage, server, physical server, and virtualization layers are managed by vendor as well as operating system images. And above the operating system, you manage the middleware, runtime, data, and applications above operating system. And when you get a platform as a service from your vendor, Your vendor manages up to runtime, and you only manage data and application level. And if you get software as a service, like email, CRM, or ERP mobile applications, your vendor all manages these layers for you. And the government services on cloud. According to European Commission Cloud Report published in 2012, there is no doubt that clouds have the potential for being the next generation model of utility computing. So governments are also looking forward to deploying their services on cloud as well. But the governmental data is thought as valuable enough to conceal from stakeholders. So most of the governmental organizations prefer to implement this kind of private services on their own data centers. But they are lacking of required knowledge about innovative technologies like cloud computing. They need professional and trustable support for either implementing or managing of this kind of services. And rather than using commercial or community-driven platforms, getting these services from reliable governmental organizations is a good alternative for them. So NRENs could become valuable partners for operating reputable cloud services for governmental institutions. And we are using OpenStack at our infrastructure, as most of you use. This is an infrastructure that provides cloud computing technologies altogether. It's fully open source and distributed under Apache license. It has a widespread hypervisor support like KVM, Xen, ESXi, Hyper-V, Linux container, and Docker. It's written in Python and Django, and all services provides RESTful web services. It supports JSON and XML data formats, and it has a widespread plugin and driver support in terms of network and storage devices. So why we use OpenStack? Because it's used at more than 132 countries all around the world, and more than 150 vendor support, more than 13,000 developers, and it's completely free. It has different user profiles, including service providers, governmental and educational institutions, research institutes, and private companies. It has a flexible usage and easy management, and I think it's stable enough. Last month, it released the 9th version, and the next version will be Juno with J. These are the developers, some developers of OpenStack. You can see Rackspace and NASA at the top. They started the OpenStack project at 2010. And there are some vendors like Dell, HPM, Fujitsu, Canonical as well. And the banking company, Wells Fargo Bank, is using and also developing OpenStack, contributes to developing OpenStack. And eBay, AT&T, are using OpenStack as well. This is some statistics about OpenStack usage in the world. Rackspace Cloud uses OpenStack at all services and customers. NASA uses OpenStack at Nebula project. CERN has 3,500 physical hosts, 3 cloud instances, and 60,000 CPU cores. And it's expected to be 300,000 estimated cores in 2015. NSA also uses a secure custom version of OpenStack. And you can see Cisco, Intel, HP Cloud, Dreamhost, and PayPal. Most of 170 million customers are running on OpenStack as well. These slides show the components of OpenStack. Above a standard hardware, here there are some shared services offered by OpenStack like compute, networking, and storage. And these are the individual projects that provides these services. For example, Horizon provides dashboard, Keystone provides identity services, Nova manages compute services, NREN manages networking, and Cinder block storage, Glance for images, Swift for object storage, Heat for orchestration, Sailometer for telemetry, Trove for database as a service, and Oslo for common libraries. This is the version history of OpenStack. It started at 2010 with the Austin version, and now it's at the SaaS version released last month, and it has now 10 different projects. I will skip these individual slides because of time limitation. You can read these slides from my presentation. If you contact with me, I will send the whole presentation. Yeah. So this is the sample architecture for OpenStack. You can also implement all these nodes to a single node for OpenStack, or you can use 3 different nodes at least, and you can scale horizontally with adding more compute nodes to your infrastructure. These services are running on the controller nodes, and you can query them via API network from the internet, or the management network from internal nodes. On compute node, there is a Nova compute service and the NREN plugin agent. That's whatever the plugin you are using. And at the network node, you run layer agent of NREN and DHCP agent for releasing IPs, and plugin agent of NREN. There are also some third-party applications you can use with OpenStack. One of them is Savannah, and it's now called Sahara. This is a Hadoop as a service, and you can use with OpenStack. Murano is an application catalog that's useful for mostly Windows applications. For orchestration and automation, you can use Puppet, Chef, Juju, and SaltStack. And for bare metal provisioning, you can use Mass, Cobbler, and Kickstar. And OpenStack is, all APIs are fully compatible with Amazon Elastic Cloud 2 and S3. And it's possible to migrate all the applications written for Amazon to OpenStack with a minimal effort. So at ULAKBIM Cloud, test studies were started at the end of 2011. We use old generation HPC nodes for our cloud infrastructure because CPU-hungry HPC applications needs new generation hardwares, and after 2 years they become insufficient for HPC researchers. So we utilize these old HPC nodes on our cloud infrastructure. And we also have virtual clusters for grid services on OpenNebula. And infrastructure as a service has been offered for 1.5 years. OpenStack infrastructure will be expanded as a part of EGI Federated Cloud. We have completed the certification process last month. This is our data center. These are the server resources we have. And these are the storage resources, approximately a total of 2.5 petabytes. And these are the interconnects in terms of InfiniBand and network management. We have also 40 gigabit Ethernet network, you can see here. And we are now trying to use direct attach network for OpenStack with SRIOV, so we can eliminate 2 layers, both libvirt and OpenVStack, or OpenVSwitch. One of the projects that are running on ULAKBIM OpenStack cloud platform is FATIH project. This is a movement of enhancing opportunities and improving technology. This is a project of Ministry of National Education, and it's one of the biggest education investment projects of Turkey. It has a budget of 8 billion Turkish liras, approximately 4 billion United States dollars. And it aims to create opportunities in education and improve technology usage in school. There are 42,000 schools, 570,000 classes, 10.6 million tablets will be distributed to both students and teachers. There are 470,000 smart boards will be used in classes, and there are 705,000 teachers. And there will be some distance education centers, and all online contents are now running on our OpenStack infrastructure. And one of the other projects that runs on OpenStack is our national operating system, Pardus. This is based on Debian architecture and developed by ULAKBIM. It has KDE and GNOME desktop alternatives. They have also call center support, and it's used in several governmental institutions, including Ministry of National Defense. It's also embedded in smart boards used in FATIH project. There are also internal projects of ULAKBIM and other TÜBİTAK institutes running on OpenStack. Some projects of universities, several research institutions, and various governmental institutions, including several ministries and the Prime Minister of Turkey. These are some statistics about our cloud. We have a total of 15,000 CPU cores, including HPC resources, and a total amount of 100 terabytes of memory, and 2.5 petabytes of data storage. We have two different OpenStack instances. One of them is hybrid, the master one, and the FATIH project's OpenStack is a private one. And master OpenStack has a total number of 150 virtual machines and 1,100 CPU cores, 3 terabytes of memory, and 60 terabytes of data storage. And FATIH project uses 170 virtual machines, 765 CPU cores, 2 terabytes of memory, and 8 terabytes of data storage. So we run into some challenges when we are operating this cloud. OpenStack periodically releases new release every 6 months, and version upgrades are sometimes very painful. Release notes must be read carefully to do these version upgrades. And maintenance, management, and sustainability is another challenge. Sometimes it's hard to find the problem and solve the issue. And security, we have mentioned about this before. Because of multi-tenancy, you can have some security problems. And layer agent high availability is another challenge because OpenStack uses network namespaces, and it's hard to move virtual routers to another network node. And you sometimes run into bugs, and you need to apply patches for them. And you need to optimize your kernel user space and network layer. And sometimes problem detection and elimination is also difficult. These are some resources for troubleshooting for OpenStack. And last slide. ULAKBIM is working on pioneer studies on cloud computing, like as in several services and technologies, and server and storage services belong to several projects are offered via this cloud infrastructure. Besides Fatih and Pardus projects, there are many other projects running on cloud, and after implementing a production level cloud environment, ULAKBIM has been following the newest technologies and innovations closely. And thank you for your patience.
Thank you very much. So questions from the audience? One question here.
Hi. Very interesting. Thanks. I'm Simon Leinen from Switch. We're building similar systems on a smaller scale still. Do you see a bottleneck with public IP addresses for the VMs in your cloud, or how do you handle this? Are you planning to support IPv6 or do so already?
No, at the moment we are using only IP version 4 for our infrastructure, and we are using 2 Class C IP blocks for our infrastructure. And it's currently enough for us. But we are thinking about using IPv6.
Hi, Robert Hackett here from HN in Ireland. Just wondering, in terms of the people you need for this OpenStack cloud, what kind of team do you need behind it for support? What type of skills and how many people?
We have a cloud team including 8 engineers. Including me, and some of them looks for hardware problems, managing storage, network, and server problems, and 3 of them are looks after OpenStack, and 2 of them are relating with distance learning applications for universities. A total of 8.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other questions? No. So thank you very much again. And this is the end of the session. I think I have a couple of announcements that I have to make. So the students' posters out there, you still have a chance to vote on them. There is the feedback form that you should fill out, of course. And we, I think, still have some extra tickets for the gala dinner if you have any person coming with you. So you can buy extra tickets and buses will be organized. So thank you very much.